Thank you, thank you. Yeah, my name is Deniz. I am German. Yeah, that's the best reaction I ever got for this. This feels good. I'm also half Turkish. That's why I look like a Mexican Joe Rogan. And I mentioned that towards a friend of mine. She's Mexican American, and she said like, "Oh, you're Turkish? Cool. That means you're also not white." I was like, "What?" And she said, "Well, if you're Turkish, you're not white." And I said like, "No, I'm white. I feel very white." And she said, "Well, Dennis, it's not about how you feel." And that really confused me because I identify as white. My whole life I identified as white. And then I decided to do some proper research, and I pulled out my phone and asked ChatGPT. And I was like, "Hey, ChatGPT, I'm half Turkish, half German. Am I white?" And ChatGPT said, "Lol." Yeah, and I pay for premium, so... And that was really confusing. And then I went to my white German friends and told them what ChatGPT said. And they were like, "Wait, what? You thought you were white?" I mean, I knew I was not like, Scandinavian white. But I thought I was like off-white. And also that's something like all the white people do, and I did it my whole life. And the thing is, whenever I was nice to a non-white person, I felt very good about myself. And then I wanted to clarify because I was really confused about this whole thing. And then I asked ChatGPT again, and I said, "ChatGPT, if I'm Turkish, what does it mean? What am I?" And ChatGPT said, "If you're Turkish, that means you belong to the Turk tribe. And that means you're Asian." Like, you're Asian? Yes? What's up, sister? This is so weird. I'm Asian. This is weird. This is very new to me, I'm Asian now. I'm sorry, I don't identify as Asian not a tiny bit, It's weird. I never looked at a photo of Kim Jong-un and thought... But I have looked at photos of Adolf Hitler and thought, "Oh shit, yeah." This is just weird. My whole life I thought I was white. For 50 years I thought I was white. I'm about to turn 51 in a month. By the way, I don't look 50, right? I look younger, right? Yeah, that's because I'm Asian. My whole life I fantasized about interracial sex. And it turns out every sex I ever had was interracial. And I was the interracial. It's nice, I got even a laugh from the 90-year-old Asian lady in the front here. This is just weird. This is all very confusing. What can I say? It was good to be white. It was great to be white. I can say it now. Because I'm not it, But it was great to be white. For all the non-white people, you should try it once for a weekend. It's fantastic. It's great to be white. I mean, sure, there's some downsides to being white. I know. Like white guilt. That's not good. And as a German, there's German guilt, and I really got to say, German guilt is truly the superior white guilt. And I'm saying that with a confusing sense of pride. I don't know. It's weird. This is weird, but it was great to be white. I know it's confusing to you guys because there's a bold German on stage ranting about it's great to be white, but it's fine. You can all relax. I'm Asian. Also, all the races, it doesn't really matter, right? Races don't matter really, right? Right? Races don't matter, right? Except they do a little bit, My wife is East European. Yeah, my wife is East European, and she's a very stereotypical East European woman, which means she's super hot, and she's racist. No, that was just a joke. Of course, she's not super hot. No, I love her very, very much. Last week we celebrated our anniversary, and we're married now for 28 years. Thank you. I mean, technically it's just 4, but it's like dog years, The other day I was in a FlixBus driving home, and I ride the FlixBus for many reasons, mainly because it's so much cheaper. And I was on FlixBus and I was sitting there, and I was watching a video recording of a comedy show I did the night before just to analyze it, But I'm very careful about this because I don't want people to see me looking at myself on stage with a microphone, because that looks super narcissistic, right? So I'm like very careful, and then I see the guy next to me is also watching something on his phone, and then I'm checking and I see he's watching hardcore gay porn. While I'm sitting here being ashamed and self-conscious about watching my comedy set, watching myself in my phone, which, if you think about it, is also pretty gay. This guy's watching hardcore gay porn for 3 hours. Which means I was watching hardcore gay porn for 3 hours. And he was not just texting, he was not just watching, he was simultaneously, he was texting, he was on a dating platform somehow, and he was trying to hook up, but he didn't get any matches. Poor guy. And then I was looking at what he was writing, and he wrote stuff like, I want to have it in my mouth, I want to have it down there, and I want to have it in my hand. Ugh. In your hand? That's a step back. What is that? This guy doesn't understand a thing about storytelling. What is that? That's not how you, that's more like, that's not how you do it. And then I'm like, hey, dude, this is not how you do it. And he was like, excuse me? I was like, dude, I understand a little bit about poetry, and that ain't it. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I just snatched his phone away, and then I started to text the guys for him. And what can I say? It turns out I'm really good at it. I got so many likes. Felt so good, it was so great. And of course at one point I started to like pimp it up a little bit, and he was leaning over and he was like, hey, I'm not doing gangbangs. So it's like, you're doing gangbangs now. And it was nice. I hope he's okay. I have 2 little kids. That's a good transition, right? I have 2 little kids. I have a little daughter, and I can honestly say she's the love of my life and turned me into a better person. And 3 days ago, she turned 5. I tell her thank you. And we have a little boy, and he just turned 3. No, don't happy birthday for my boy, because he was a mistake. No, that sounds terrible, right? No, he was not an accident, but he was a mistake. It's just so expensive. I can't afford 2 kids. This is just crazy. This is just crazy. By the way, who has kids here? Give me a cheer if you have kids. That's a cheer. Okay. Give me a cheer if you don't have kids. Okay, yeah. Fuck all of you. You get so much sleep. Okay, listen, this is how it is having kids, okay? So like 2 weeks ago, we're all sleeping in one bed. My wife, my daughter, my son, and me. And it's called co-sleeping. And I was the first one to wake up. And I thought like, oh great, everybody's sleeping. If I'm lucky, the next couple minutes could belong just to me. And then I see my little boy starting to wake up, and I'm like, no, don't wake up. And then he wakes up, opens his eyes, and the first thing he sees is me. And he looks at me and he smiles. And then he came closer to me, crawled closer, and started to rub his nose against my nose even. And then looked deep into my eyes. And it was one of the most profound, purposeful moments of my entire life. And then he threw up. And that really hurt. Because he threw up right into my eyes, and that burns. Guys, thank you so much. My name is Deniz. Thank you.